The fear-eater Dr. Elias Crowe had always been a man of ambition, a seeker of solutions to the human mind's darkest corners. His office, nestled in the heart of a crumbling Victorian building, was a sanctuary for the broken. Patients came to him trembling, their lives crippled by irrational fears, arachnophobia, claustrophobia, nyctophobia. Elias had promised them liberation, and he delivered, at least at first. The technique was revolutionary, a blend of hypnotherapy and neurochemical manipulation. Patients would recline in the worn leather chair, its cracks whispering secrets of the countless souls it had cradled. Elias would guide them into the depths of their subconscious, peeling back the layers of their terror like the skin of a rotting fruit. The fear, raw and pulsating, would be drawn out, siphoned into a device of his own invention, a sleek, obsidian orb that hummed faintly as it absorbed the intangible essence of dread. Patients would awaken lighter, their phobias erased, their minds unburdened. But the orb was not merely a tool. It was a vessel, and something within it stirred. At first, Elias dismissed the unease that crept into his sessions. The faint, almost imperceptible vibrations in the air as the orb consumed another fear. The way the shadows in his office seemed to stretch and ripple, as though recoiling from an unseen force. He told himself it was the strain of his work, the toll of delving into the abyss of human terror day after day. The first patient to return was a young woman named Claire. She had been terrified of drowning, her nights plagued by dreams of dark, suffocating waters. After her session, she had left his office radiant, her gratitude spilling over in tearful thanks. But now, she sat before him again, her face pale, her hands trembling. "I can't sleep," she whispered. "I hear it, water, everywhere, even when I'm awake." Elias leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "Claire, we removed your fear. It's gone." But as she spoke, a faint sound reached his ears, the rhythmic lapping of waves, distant yet insistent. He glanced at the orb on his desk. It was still, its surface smooth and unbroken, yet he felt it watching. That night, Elias dreamt of drowning. He awoke gasping, his lungs burning, his sheets soaked with sweat. The orb sat on his nightstand, its dark surface gleaming faintly in the moonlight. He told himself it was a coincidence, a trick of the mind. But the manifestations grew. A man who had feared spiders returned, his body covered in bites, though he swore he had not seen a single arachnid. A woman who had been terrified of heights was found dead at the base of a building, her face frozen in a rictus of terror. Each time, Elias felt the orb grow heavier, its hum deeper, resonating in his bones. The air in his office thickened, carrying a metallic tense that clung to the back of his throat. The shadows no longer merely stretched, they writhed, coiling like living things, and always the orb sat at the center of it all, its presence oppressive, its hunger insatiable. Elias began to notice changes in himself. His reflection in the mirror seemed off. His eyes, once sharp and piercing, now carried a dull sheen, as though something had drained the life from them. His skin grew pale, his frame gaunt. He He avoided his own gaze, fearing what he might see lurking behind it. One evening, as he sat alone in his office, the orb began to hum without provocation. The sound was low, almost imperceptible, but it vibrated through the room, setting his teeth on edge. He approached it cautiously, his hand trembling as he reached out. The moment his fingers brushed its surface, a wave of nausea overtook him. Images flooded his mind, his patience, their fears, their deaths, and behind it all, a presence, vast, malevolent, and hungry. The parasite. It had been feeding on the fears he extracted, growing stronger with each one. And now, it was no longer content to remain confined. It wanted more. The room grew cold, the shadows deepening until they swallowed the light entirely. Elias stumbled back, his breath coming in ragged gasps. From the darkness, shapes began to emerge. A spider, its legs impossibly long, its eyes glinting with malice. A wave of water, black and churning, filling the room with the deafening roar of a storm. The floor beneath him seemed to vanish, replaced by a dizzying void, an endless drop into nothingness. The parasite was manifesting their fears, pulling them from the depths of its gluttonous mind and birthing them into reality. And Elias was its next victim. He tried to run, but the shadows clung to him, their touch icy and suffocating. The orb pulsed, its surface cracking, dark tendrils spilling forth like smoke. They wrapped around him, pulling him closer, their touch searing his flesh. He screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the darkness. In his final moments, Elias understood the true horror of his creation. The parasite had not merely consumed his patient's fears, had consumed him. His ambition, his hubris, had birthed a monster, and now it was free. When the police arrived days later, they found the office empty. The orb sat on the desk, its surface smooth and unbroken, its hum faint but persistent. They dismissed it as a curiosity, a relic of the eccentric doctor's work. But the shadows in the room seemed darker, deeper. And if one listened closely, they could hear it, the faint rhythmic lapping of waves.